Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a T110E3. It's an American Tier 10 tank destroyer, and it's located on the north spawn of Mountain Pass. And it's being commanded by Marky 12, and I can see that he's got one mark of excellence on his barrel, so he's played this tank destroyer quite a lot. Well, what can I tell you about it? Well, it's actually a replacement for the T95. Shares the same frontal armour of the T95, so it's pretty devastating from the front. But it has less armour around the sides, no skirts around the tracks, so it is vulnerable to the sides, but in return it actually does have much more mobility than the T95. It has a 155mm anti-tank gun, with 295 penetration on standard ammo, 750 alpha damage. So really you don't want to face a T110E3 from the front, because if you do, you're probably going to come off worse. Okay, we spotted our first enemy. It's the Centurion Action 10. And he's across the pass in the south. Marky's coming up to the gap. Can't see it at the moment. In fact, he can't see any enemy at the moment, but he can see them on his mini-map. Looking for a target. I think he wants to take a shot. Oh no, he's decided to go down from the hill, from the plateau, and looks like he's headed towards the bridge road. There's nobody covering the bridge road at the moment, so he's all alone. T25 Pilot 1's crossing the bowl, coming up the other side to do a bit of spotting, but he's around the corner now, so he can't be seen. But is there going to be an opponent on the bridge road? Well, we can't see one yet, but he's in a nice hold down position here, so nobody's going to get to his lower plate while he's got a big rock in the way. Yeah, he's just checking his front plate there. Wise precaution, actually. Just take a look out, use right hand mouse button, swivel it around and see if you can see something. And he has been spotted, so something is at the upper end of that road, but he can't see it at the moment. Outside render range, it must mean that the other tank has got good camo. Yes, there it is. It's an Object 2684. And he's just bounced some shots. Fires around in two. The ISU 152 took a massive hit. 784 hit points. That 2684 tried to get out of the way. A Type 4 Heavy just fired an HE round and the strip just bounced. He fires around him where the strip was most likely to be. I don't know if he got a hit. We can't see the strip. The Strib S1 has is the tier 8 Swedish wedge. It does have very good camo, so he probably wouldn't see it at this range. Right, there's the Type 4 Heavy, and there's the Strib. Okay, now you can see it, and he finishes him off. 305 hit points. Beautiful shot, right into the side. That Strib made the classic error. He ignored the one big threat posing him at the other end of the road. Now that 268's focusing on the tanks in the pass, so he really does need to do something about that, because otherwise the tanks on the ice road are really going to suffer. Now, can you see the 268? No, but we know that Type 4 Heavy's down the other end as well. And if he moves further down, that Type 4 Heavy's going to put a round into him. Okay, going for the Type 4. Oh, big hit! 660 hit points. And he just used standard AP to slice straight through that Type 4 Heavy's armour. Just shows how powerful the 155mm gun is. Fires another round in at the ISU 152, but he's not there. Oh yes, he is there, but he actually moved to one side, so he's on the other side now. That ISU 152 would do good to hide behind that rock, because he's got no protection against the 155mm gun. If he comes out, then Marky will finish him off. Okay, we can't see him at the moment. Type 4 Heavy's decided to go round the corner. Now this is awkward, because the enemy is repositioning. We've lost a few tanks on the ice road. And an Object 140 and a Centurion Action 10 are going around to engage the Wizzy 111 and the Scorpion G. And there's not a lot we can do about it from here. Not with that Type 4 Heavy at the other end of the road. Oh, we've just lost the Wizzy 111 1G. Or 111G, I should say. And I think we're going to lose the Scorpion if they both get to him at the same time. Now others are focusing on that point and they're saying to get help there. The Panther 88 is headed that direction, and another Wizzy 111's gone, and we've lost the Scorpion G. So as I predicted, we're in trouble. T110E3 is going down the end of the road. Now he can act as a spotter, and that would help us take out the other tanks. Not sure if that 268 is still there. Is he? Well, if he was, the T110E3 would have known about it by now. And so he's obviously not there. He must have gone down the side of the rock. But the Panther 88 is making grounds into the Centurion Action 10 and the Object 140. And the T26 is about to do the same from behind them. Now, Marky's backing up. You can see where some of the rounds actually hit him. Right on the face of the armour. But of course his armour is so thick at the front, it's very difficult for any rounds to go through. And those were HE rounds that actually hit him from Type 4 Heavy. HE is probably about the only thing that can actually do some damage to the T110E3 at the front. Of course, it is vulnerable at the sides, the E3. And the fact that it is a TD with a fixed front-mounted gun does mean, of course, that if the enemy can get around the sides of him or behind him, he's finished. Okay, right now there's Pantera was seen. And Marky's taking up his hull down position again using the rock. It's a great little position that. I've used it myself. Unbelievably powerful, actually. Okay, the enemy is in our base. The Action 10, the Object 140. Marky's going to have to do something about it because the Action 10 is headed this way. Panther 88 was not able to hold them back. We're down to 5 tanks on our team, 6 on the enemy, and there's the Panther 88, and he's been finished off by the Action 10. So, Marky's going to have to do something now himself. The Object 140's up on top. The Action 10's down below. He needs to get away and move away from this position, because otherwise the Object 140 will shoot at him from above. He's backing up. There's the Object 140. Oh, the Object 140's made a mistake. He's actually come down. And he's tracked. And now he's dead. 615 hit points. One shot. That huge alpha damage that the 155 can do. 750. That was a low roll. Oh, now the Pantera is going to try and get behind Marky, but he's using the rock to spin around without the Pantera being able to do anything about it. Pantera is about to get wiped out, and he is. 177 hit points. Centurion Action 10's trying to do the same. It won't work for them. It won't work because he can turn around and almost flip them up. And look, that Centurion's almost on his side. Oh, puts a round in, but gets a fire. The Centurion blows up from the fire. So he's killed off 2, well 3 actually in quick succession, because including the Object 140. Here's the Type 4 Heavy, who's setting up his shot, but oh, what's he doing? He's aiming in the sky. He's an absolute nutter. That was a high roll, that was. 849 hit points. What is he doing? Has he gone AFK? Well, if he is, he's being a very silly bunny. There you go, he's dead. What a thing to do. What a moment to go AFK. Or did he just give up? Well, he's given up the game because that's it. Game over. They've won. So, let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And that was a second-class tanker for Marky 12. It just goes to show how many people play the T110E3. It is at the top and the end of the American Tank Destroyer line. But it's actually quite popular for when you can do that sort of thing. He got a Judas medal for taking down 2 tanks that did damage to him during the battle. He also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5. A 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. And lastly, he got a tanker sniper medal. He fired at least 8 shots, got accuracy of at least 85%, and at least 80% of his shots must cause damage to get that medal. So congratulations on getting that. Now let's have a look at team scores, see where we were. Well, when it came to damage, he got 5,491 hit points. He was top on his team. But he wasn't the top. The Action 10 that he killed managed to get 6,070, and he picked up the high caliber as well as the Confederate. When it came to kills, he got the highest number on his team, 5, and it was the Object 140 who came away with the most kills on the enemy team. He also had 5. And when it came to base XP, he was second. The Wizzy 111, who was actually defending the Ice Road, he managed to get 1,041, lower tier vehicle. Marky managed to get 939 base XP, and the other team members did actually, the enemy team did fairly well considering they lost the battle. They still managed to get very high scores on their base XP because of course they were working very, very hard indeed. But very silly of that Type 4 to just raise his gun right at the end of the game and give up, because he had a chance. He could have done some damage to Marky. He could have at least fought it out at the end. But let's have a look at the detailed report. Well, 10 shots fired, 9 direct hits, 9 penetrations, shows the power of that 155mm gun. 5,491 hit points of damage, of which 2,444 were at more than 300 meters. He received 7 hits during that battle, only 2 were penetrations, and they didn't do much in the way of damage. He also had 5 non-penetrations. Those are the ones which were blocked by the armor, some of them from the Striv. I think one of them was also from the Object 268. He received 1 hit as a result of splash damage as well. He blocked damage of 1,260 hit points. Again, it shows the strength of the armor at the front of this tank. It's just like the T95, extremely strong from the front. He spotted 4 enemy vehicles. He damaged 6 of the enemy but killed 5 of them, and he did damage assistance of 80 hit points. On a standard account, he earned 43,424 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, he still had 8,737 credits left over. He received base XP of 939, and times 2 for the first victory of the day meant he took away 1,878 XP altogether. So a pretty satisfying victory. Very good result in terms of getting the win at the end after holding out on the bridge road, even though the other members of his team were dying out elsewhere. He actually then managed to defend himself very adequately against that Pantera and against the Action 10. And finally, that Type 4, I don't know what he was going through his head at the time, but I don't think he was a very experienced player to just sit there, raise his gun, and allow Marky to execute him was rather silly. He could have tried to fight it, he didn't. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.